Welcome back, everybody. In this video, we'll be looking at BlackJack. As you can see, I've remade this classic card game in GB Studio. There's still a few things I haven't done. For example, those advanced mechanics like splitting and doubling down, and some other things as well. And I've currently made it so you can, hit and stand. And then once you've decided your thing, then the dealer then goes through theirs, and obviously it works out who wins, and then you go back to the start. I haven't implemented, how much money you're betting, and I haven't even implemented like a save feature or anything. I didn't really think it was necessary. Like nobody's going to be playing this to actually play blackjack. And I thought that if you guys wanted to see it, then maybe you could do it yourself. My patrons will have access to this. And when I make this public, when I submit it to the Game Boy Competition 2021 at the end of this month, I will also make it public to everyone else. So I think I'll leave it for now. I also haven't, changed the font or added any music. So it's kind of, on the low quality side, but this isn't going to be a winning game. I think it's just more of a testing bed. If you remember in my last video, I ran through some of the problems that I was having with having multiple actors on the screen at the same time, and I ended up having, limiting it to 5 actors for each player, the dealer and the player. And this was because the maximum you can have in a scene is 10. So by hiding the actor of the player, you've made sure that this is at that 10. And this works perfectly fine. I'll just run through with you some of the things that were difficult and that I have managed to overcome. So obviously, when a card is chosen, right, it uses randomness, and it basically just sets a number between 1 and 13, right? I could do between 1 and 52 for all the cards in the deck, and then set a number based on which card it is. But I didn't feel like that was the smartest way to do it. Obviously, the way I'm doing it means it's not technically fully random. I'm making it so it asks what suit or what number the card is from ace to king, all the way up through, and then it then checks if it's a 1, then it means ace. If it's 2, it means 2. Blah blah blah, all the way up to 13, meaning king. And so if the amount of aces in the game is greater than or equal to 4, then it goes back up to here. You see, I've got this define, and I've got this go to. So it will go to this defined place up here. So if it isn't 4 or more, then it adds 1 to this aces thing, right? So when we roll, if it gets a 1, meaning an ace, then it adds an ace to the in use, basically. And then it does that for every single card. So obviously when we're on the 5-5, that means there's 10 different cards in play, and it makes sure that it doesn't ever show more than 4 of the same card on the screen. And then once it's chosen the card, it obviously sets the correct card. And then each of these cards is very simple, and it just says this card sets to the correct animation frame, and then it invokes the next one to do the same thing. And it's like a chain of invokes. So on start, it invokes the first one, and then they all chain along and invoke each other. And then the last one is where the magic happens. Obviously, on the first one, they're all setting themselves, but beyond that, they're just setting which number was already chosen. So if we keep looking at that, it goes beyond that, and it obviously sets the animation frame after it's done that, and then it adds the score to the dealer, right? So when I've came into the problem of the aces, the ace can be either 1 or 11. I didn't actually check this stuff. I'm doing it from my brain. I did watch some blackjack videos to figure out how the process goes on. Obviously, when you're playing with your friends, you might pull a card one at a time. But I found out that you pull your cards first. Obviously, you see one of their cards, and then you pull all of your cards. And then once you've hit stand, or obviously you've run out of cards to pull, then, or you've obviously gone bust. Then it then moves the dealer's cards up by 1 until they either go bust or stand. So that made it a lot simpler because you can constantly, once you've calculated these numbers, you can just check to see if it's 21. And then beyond that, you don't have to check beyond if it's 21 because you already know if it's been checked. But I'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, so the ace can be 1 or 11. So there's two values here, and so there's dealer score low ace and high ace. And obviously, if it's not an ace, then both of these values add the value of the card. Obviously, this is setting the actual card value, and this is setting if it's between 10 and king. They're all value of 10, right? And then beyond that, it's either 1 or 11. And then on the second card, if the first one was ace, I actually set them both to 1, because if they're both aces, then that means that would be 22, and that would go bust, right? So if the first card is an ace, then I can just set both values to 1. You see here, I've got it so if the dealer card 1 is equal to 1, meaning the ace, then we add a 1 to the low dealer score and the high dealer score. And if it's not, then we add 11. And I need to do that beyond and check, if card 2 is the ace, blah, blah, blah. It gets really complicated, and I haven't done that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not taking this any further by adding the money and stuff, because it will get complicated, and I don't think it's worth my time. But obviously, if you're my patron, then you'll be able to, do this yourself. And if you're watching this after I've submitted it, then you'll also be able to edit it yourself. Yeah, so once we've done those checks and added the values of our card to know how much the value the dealer is holding and also the player is holding separately, it then basically checks, are we bust? And if it says are we bust, and it also says are we, is it blackjack? And if it is blackjack, then obviously the player is checked first and they win. Then the dealers is checked and they win if the player hasn't already won. And then it's if we've stood, then if this score is higher, then the dealer beats the player, and if not, then and it's not below 17, then it moves on. And I'm definitely oversimplifying because there's a lot of just if statements stacked on top of each other. Checking all this stuff is really, really messy. I'm not happy with it at all. But sometimes you just gotta do what works and then reassess whether it's worth the time or not to make it better. And arguably this could be as clean as I can get it, but I haven't really tried. It's taken me a long while to get this done. I've spent the last 2 days working on it. But I think it works as you would hope. So if you have a look, we just play it. So obviously we've got 20 here, so we would obviously stand. And I've got this technique here that, you can only choose the hit or stand, and it automatically goes to each one. And that's because if you click on one of these cards, it will invoke the script. And that will mean that, say if we clicked on this card here, it would automatically invoke the stand script, and that would mean that we would move on to the next thing, even if we wanted to hit, just by clicking on this card, and that's not great. And I'll show you how I did that. That's quite a kind of important thing. So I've obviously locked off every button that I don't want the player to use, and I've also locked off the left button and instead made it set the position to here. You see the red bit showing up on the hit, and then the opposite button sets the position to there. And I've hit the player on start, and I made it also so it shows the player when they move there. And that's just a good way to, snap from place to place. And obviously I could have another check, see which position it is in, if I was going to have another button, and then do something different for that. But obviously I'm lucky that I only need 2 buttons. So if we press stand, and then the dealer hits, and we get brought into the next scene, then the card is shown, and the dealer then stands, and they've obviously got 20, we've got 20, meaning we didn't win, and we go back to the main screen. And obviously we can move around on the main screen because there's nothing to stop us, but we just go on it. Okay, so we've got 20, they've got 8, so we should definitely stand. They've got 18, we win. And while I was doing this, I kind of seeing, the allure of it. You kind of feel like you're getting smarter as you play, even though the odds basically don't change. Like here, I have no chance. I have a 7 or uh, a 17, right? And they have a 9, and I'll probably get a 19. So whichever I do, I probably will either go bust or just lose. And as I was testing it, and obviously I was fixing the bugs, and that's the reason why I was testing it so much. But I realized that BlackJack just isn't, a good game. It's clearly luck-based. It's clearly gambling, and I didn't think it would be a good idea to implement the money system into it, especially since that technically this is a gambling game, and I don't know about rating for this. Putting on itch as well. Yes, it just feels wrong to me. So you see here we now have 20, so maybe you will win. Dealer stands, and we win, but obviously we had such a big chance of losing there. So yeah, although this game has mainly served as a test for card-based games in GB Studio, and also about high-level stats and management of those stats. I'm very happy with how I've sorted out the, check to see if it's with which card it is, and the randomness is random because of the invoking of each, actor. It means that it's not just the same thing every single time when you load up. So yeah, I think I've learned a lot from this, but I've also learned that I should stop. I will definitely still put it in the competition. I'll still make a couple, like a title screen for it, with my name or something. But for now, I'll probably put it to one side and only pick it back up to submit it into the competition. There are still a few bugs, like once you get into these, high-level things, sometimes the checks, for some reason, like the dealer stands on 16 for no reason, and sometimes the player loses for no reason. And I haven't really figured that out since it's basically a copy-paste of this level here. So yeah, if you guys look over it and tell me, then I'd be interested. But yeah, I'm not expecting this to win the competition or anything. But yeah, I hope you guys found this video interesting. Just remind you that my patrons who are up on screen right now, thank you guys. You'll have access to these files when this video goes live, and everyone else will have access to it when I submit the competition piece. It'll be on itch with the game in the downloads. So yeah, I be interested to hear what you guys think about BlackJack in GB Studio, and maybe even in real life, what you think of BlackJack. So yeah, like this video if you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks you so much for watching.